Aquarium Shrimp for Beginners is going to focus on the Neocaridina species and is going to be an overview of the species in general, as well as a guide of what you are going to need to keep them successfully and what they are going to need to thrive in your tank. So before we start, two things that I want you to keep in mind. First off, shrimp keeping is extremely addictive, and secondly, it's going to be the most rewarding part of the aquarium hobby that you ever experience. A good starting off point is for you to know that all of the different Neocaridina colors that we find today started from the wild type shrimp that we still find in the rivers and streams of Asia. And there are loads of different colors of Neocaridina, so you will definitely find some that not only suits your tank best, but also your budget. The more intense or scarce the color is, the more expensive the shrimp becomes. As an overview, we'll discuss the red Neocaridina grading, where you find cherry grade shrimp at the bottom. That's a shrimp with a little bit of red and mostly clear. After that, you'll find sakura grade, which is more red and a little bit less of clear. From there, we'll move over to fire red, where it's mostly red and only a little bit of clear, and finally move over to painted fire red, which is completely red. Regardless of what color or grade of Neocaridina you get, they all can be kept on the same water parameters, where they're looking for a pH of around 7 and a TDS of around 180. For more in-depth discussion, please have a look at our previous videos where we discussed the basics of Neocaridina. On Aquarium Specs, Neocaridina are also very forgiving, where with their small bioload they don't require much, and you can get away with anything from a 20-liter tank, or like me, where I keep my culls and wild types in a 4-foot tank. On the filtration side, normal sponge filters are good enough, but if you want to give them something like a hop filter or canister filter, just make sure that the inlet is covered so that it doesn't suck up baby shrimp, which are very small when they are born. Heating, dependent on where you live and how cold it gets, it's not always necessary, but it's a good idea to have them for the cold days, as Neos prefer a temperature of about 20 to 25 degrees. On the substrate side, that's also going to depend on your budget and your current water parameters, so you can run anything from high quality and expensive aqua soil to normal gravel. And to round the tank off, you'd want to add light and some plants to your tank, anything from moss, Java fern, nubus, bucephalandra. Just keep in mind that your light cycle you should try and keep at about 6 to 8 hours, not to overstimulate the plant growth, but also not to stress out your shrimp. Feeding Neocaridina isn't only easy but also very enjoyable. It's a time when you can see all of your shrimp together, eating and enjoying the food that you give them. There's a lot of great commercial shrimp food available on the market, but I always feel that it's better to give a balanced diet, from commercial foods to fresh fruit and vegetables to leaf litter, rather than feeding one type of food daily. This also keeps the cost of the hobby down, as you can scavenge for most of their food either inside of your fridge or outside in the garden. And then lastly, we're quickly going to cover breeding. Breeding with Neocaridina is super easy. All you'll need is a male and a female, stable water conditions and time. At some point in time, they will start breeding. To tell the difference between a male and a female, the male is always smaller than the female, always has less color than the female, and the body shape differs, where the male's stomach is, I would say, very straight, and the female's belly is a lot rounder. Males fertilize the eggs by jumping on top of the females, impregnating them, and then the eggs move from the shrimp saddle. You'll see sometimes you'll see it under the head of the female, dependent again on the color and grade of shrimp. And these eggs will move down to the belly of the female, where it's kept for approximately 30 days, after which the little shrimps are live born. After about another 60 to 90 days, these baby shrimp have grown big enough so that they too can start breeding. At this point you might be stressing, well, I don't want to get overrun by shrimp, so what do I do? Normally not all baby shrimp that are born make it to adulthood. With the shrimp's lifespan being so short, usually 18 to 24 months, it's good that they breed so easily. That being said, even your 20-liter tank can sustain hundreds of shrimp at a time. But if you decide to let some of them go, you can always then swap them out for new colors that you want, or trade them for new blood for your existing colony. And then finally, to round off, ideally you'd want to keep them on their own, but if you want to keep them in a community setup, the smaller the fish the better. Something like Chile rosboras or Galaxy rosboras are fine. Snails like neorites and rabbit snails are perfectly fine. Other safe fish are something like ottocincluses, they are perfectly fine. But as soon as you go bigger than, I would say, tetras, that's usually where stuff goes wrong. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoy content like this, please have a look at our other videos, and also think about liking and subscribing to this video. We will try and do at least one video a week, and the next upcoming one will be a tank mate for your shrimp tanks. Thanks and goodbye.